Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Christopher Woodburn, your host of schmoedown All Access. I got a kind of a skeleton crew today because people are busy and not feeling well, but I got the awesome man, James Shimo, here with me. James, how's it going, man?
Going great, Chris. It's a great week to be a geek, that's for darn sure. We had two great Inner Geekdom matches plus a Patreon match. I mean, what more can you ask for? Just a
Oh,
great week.
yes, and two of them included the lovely Emma Fife.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to bring that up, but anyway, yeah, I know you were very pleased about that. So, but yeah, we'll get into that more.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. So, in our first matchup of the week on Tuesday, like you said, we had Inner Geekdom. We had the former champ, Hector Navarro, taking on his former team partner, Adam Halavic. Now, going into this match, this is a match that I thought was kind of going to be one-sided. Like, nothing against Adam, but Hector has been, despite the record, he's been pretty, solid, kind of dominant. So I thought that Hector was going to run away with this, but that kind of wasn't the case. I mean, after what were your thoughts about going into the match, James?
Yeah, I was gonna say my thoughts were kind of similar. Going in, I thought for sure, yeah, Hector probably has this, pretty much sewn up. Granted, Adam's been a solid competitor, but I mean, you have the experience of being the former Inner Geekdom champ. I just thought like it'd play a lot more to Hector's strengths, and then it ended up being kind of like a switch in the opposite direction. But I guess that's what happens because I don't believe, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't seen Hector in a match since the Spectacular back in December, so that's been almost 6 months. So a little bit of ring rust could have had something to do with it as well.
Yeah, fatigue definitely could have played a part, and I think it did. So, like in round one, they both got 6 out of 10 questions correct, and I was a little surprised. They on a couple of the questions that they missed, like Hector, myself included, he missed on the first question. Who played Commander Riker in Star Trek? Jonathan Frakes. Like, I blanked on that name too, so I can understand Hector missing it. But Adam, he did get it. You know, how did round one play out for you? I mean, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, playing along, I actually did very well with that one. The only reason I even remembered Jonathan Frakes' name was because he also voiced one of my favorite villains in cartoons, and that was Xanatos in the Gargoyles cartoon, the Disney cartoon back in the day. So I remembered that, and that was part of what helped me there. I'm hugely disappointed Disney hasn't tried to make a live-action movie out of that yet, because that could be money. But that aside, but yeah, going into it, I was surprised. I mean, they were both kind of evenly matched. Every now and then one would hit one would miss. But yeah, I mean, these guys know each other so well, especially with what they used to do with Superhero News, and then now with both of them being on Hyper RPG. I keep an eye on both of them because I watch both of those channels on YouTube, and I get the feeling, these are the kind of guys who, I'm sure if you and I lived in the same area, we'd be going to movies all the time, especially comic book movies. We'd be hanging out, just BSing back and forth. So I figured their knowledge level is pretty much on par. So I'm going into it. I figured, round one would kind of pan out just a little bit evenly. It's like that opening round in boxing. Both guys are trying to feel each other out, trying to score a few points here and there, but ultimately they'd be pretty much at a stalemate heading into to round two, which they pretty much were.
Absolutely. And another question that I was surprised that both of them missed was what were Voldemort's followers called? They both didn't get Death Eaters. That really shocked me.
Yeah, I was surprised about that. I'm pretty sure I could hear Emma Fife's heart shattering just a little bit from that question, but I'm sure the way things panned out for on Friday, I'm sure that got fixed just a little bit.
Yeah, and then also on question 9, Adam got confused on the difference between the Hulk and the Incredible Hulk. He guessed
yes, William Hurt, the guy who plays in the MCU.
He guessed William Hurt when it was an actual Sam Elliott who played Thunderbolt Ross in the Hulk in Ang Lee's 2003 film.
Yep.
So after round one, it was all tied up at 6, and then Hector decided to do paper, rock, scissors to see who would go first in the second round, and Adam ended up going first, and he took movie release dates outside of Scott Mann's. I don't believe I can remember anybody ever just electing to take that on their first spin. But Adam was pretty dominant. He went 4 out of 5, getting 7 points. And then Hector, he actually missed a steal in that round on John Malkovich, who played the villain Quentin Turnbull and Jonah Hex. I was surprised that neither of them got that. I knew that without multiple choice.
Right.
And
I think I'm saying I think that question actually came from Emma's match on Friday, not that one. I'm not sure, but I'm not, unless they used the question 2 times and I just missed it.
Actually, I think you are correct. Yeah. I might be wrong on that.
Because I remember Jay missed that one, but Emma got it, I think.
No. Get off track. Yeah, it wasn't from Adam and Hector. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah,
too many IG matches.
Then Hector had Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth in the round 2.
Yeah, Hector got first he got opponent's choice. And then he spun. Well, first he spun Middle Earth. He didn't want it, and then spun opponent's choice, and then Adam gave him Middle Earth.
Right.
And
yeah.
Adam did not do well. He got 2 out of 5 for only 3 points. And but
what else are you gonna do?
But Adam, he missed on all 3 steal attempts. Which, I mean, they could have been big.
Yeah, I was say he needed those steals as much as possible, and that's the thing. In any of those rounds, like especially with regards to who has strengths and who has weaknesses, you got to try to at least know a little bit about everything in the inner geekdom. You got to try to be as well rounded as you can, because any slip up on somebody else's part, you need to be able to jump on as quickly as possible. Especially with 2 competitors the caliber of Adam and Hector, because we know Hector can be dangerous in any number of categories in there, especially when it comes to stuff like Star Trek and even scores and soundtracks, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I mean, yeah, overall, I felt like, they missed a lot of, both he and Adam missed a lot of opportunities to steal in that match.
Absolutely. But, Hector, he was down 13-10 after the second round. So Adam ends up picking the numbers 2, 7, and 15. Hector went with 10, 11, 12 because he felt like maybe he thought he was dead in the water and didn't care. But his first, he got MCU. He got the 2-point question, and then the 3-point question. The Back to the Future. What was the television show that was playing on the TV? And Back to the Future. He got the Honeymooners, which seemed like he kind of pulled that one out of his ass.
Yeah.
And then Hector got his 2-pointer. He missed on, I can't remember the quote, but something about sitting down. I think better, or good things will happen. He guessed Indiana Jones's father, or no, he guessed Indiana Jones, but the answer was actually Indiana Jones's father. And then on his 3-pointer, he got the 3-point question correct on that gave him back the 16-15 lead. And then Hector on his 5-point question, he got who was named the only movie, Bryan Singer comic book movie that wasn't composed by John Ottman, and it was the first X-Men movie, and that was Michael Kamen who composed that film. And Hector, with the loss, I mean, Adam probably had to have been feeling pretty good about that victory. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun match. It was kind of underwhelming a little bit, but what did you think about the match as a whole?
Overall, I felt it was a very hard-fought match by both guys. You're right in that Hector seemed like he was just kind of, over it, at least from my an outsider perspective, it seemed like he was just kind of over the whole thing when he picked those numbers. It was just like, you got to be a little bit more strategic about that, because, you know, you could pick any random numbers like 1, 2, 3 or whatever, and it could be a category you just are not prepared for. But yeah, I mean, that last question with regards to X-Men, like, I wouldn't have known that one, honestly. I honestly had no clue as far as the scores and the soundtracks go. But I believe with some of those questions you were bringing up, I believe a couple of those were also from the Jay Emma match, because I'm pretty sure the Henry Jones senior one about the quote, you know, I find that if I sit down, the solution presents itself. I think that was Jay's question, his 2-pointer from Friday.
Oh, crap. I'm screwing up big time. Yeah, you're right.
That's why you keep me around. Yeah, because I knew that one was from Friday's match. Even though I was half asleep when I was recording my reactions for that, it definitely. I remember that those questions were fresher in my mind, so I think that's why I'm pulling those. But yeah, overall, like I said, you know, it was a battle between two friends. You know, two coworkers. Adam going, I think, a little bit more heel than he's gone in the past, which I think I actually kind of like a little bit, because he's got a little bit more of an edge to him. But you know, Hector will bounce back. He's a pretty plucky guy. He'll come back. He'll have some fun, and he'll. I get the feeling he'll get his rematch for the championship at some point down the line.
Absolutely. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a fun match. It's just kind of underwhelming, but I'm sure Hector, he's going to bounce back strong from it and see who he faces next. Now, unless you have any other thoughts, I'd like to move on to Friday's matches.
Oh, I'm betting you would. Yeah, go ahead. By all means, sir. It's your show.
So we had a doubleheader, and it included the queen of the Fife Club, Emma Fife. She was taking on Janine the Machine, you know, Janine from, you know, started out from the Reaction League. We all know her. We all love her. Janine out there. You're the best. You were taking on maybe my second or probably my favorite personality in the schmoedown. And then Emma Fife, she was also taking on Jay, but we'll go through her match with Janine first. In the intros, Jay had mentioned that he added a new member to the Viper Squad, Markia McCarthy, who we've seen on Movie Talk before. Mm-hmm. And I was a little surprised by that, because, you know, she's such a nice person. I couldn't picture her playing the heel. But we'll get to that more in the post match, which kind of set off some fireworks. So in round one, Janine played strong. She got 6 out of 8. She had the lead 6-4. So, what were your thoughts going into this match?
Yeah, I mean, I knew we were gonna have a strong match. Janine, like you said, I mean, I don't know her personally, but I know a lot about her from watching her on the schmoedown, on, you know, some of the reactions that she's done. And yeah, I mean, she is a very strong competitor. She knows a lot about movie trivia, especially general movie trivia, like, instead of being just focused on like inner geekdom, which is what Emma had with Jay later on in the night. But yeah, I mean, she was a powerhouse there. I mean, I knew going in that she was going to give Emma a run for her money. But Emma, like I said, Emma's no slouch either, and she knows a good bit about films and, you know, of all different genres, not just the geeks, even though that's what she specializes in. I think that's what a lot of us specialize in, especially myself and, you know, you, if obviously we're both fans of the comic book movies, Star Wars and whatnot. But yeah, overall, I knew, like I said, I was expecting a strong showing from Janine. I was expecting a very tough showing from Emma as well. The match could have gone either way for me, but I knew we were going to get a fight one way or the other.
Yeah, and, you know, like I said, we all love Janine, but damn, if she's the nicest person in real life. But damn, if she don't play that heel, fantastic. I mean, the digs at Emma, like, I'll let Blondie go first. Like, nah, it's impressive that such a nice person can play the heel so well.
Oh yeah.
So, so going in, after, like I said, after round one, Janine was up 6-4, and Janine, she says, let Blondie go first, and Emma, she spins 2,000 movies, which I maybe could have been a strength of hers, but maybe she's seen something else on that wheel that she would have preferred, and she ends up spinning Kate Winslet. Now, Emma struggled mightily with these questions. I mean, she got 1 out of 4 with only 1 point. Janine was able to get 2 out of 3 steals for 3 points. And then Janine proceeds, she spins rom-coms, which she takes initially, and she has a strong showing, 3 out of 4 for 5 points. Emma missed the steal in that round, and Janine is up 14-5. Emma looks dead in the water. Like, she has to hit all 3 of her round 3 questions to even get Janine to have to answer one question. And so, Janine, she picks the numbers 3, 6, 9, kind of strategic. Emma goes with 10, 7, and 14. Now, to backtrack, what were your thoughts on round 2? I mean, Emma just had a terrible second round.
Yeah, honestly, and I've gone on record as saying this. I'll say it again: round 2 and/or round 3 can either make or break you in the schmoedown, because it's all down to luck of the draw. It's the spin of that wheel. It's picking the right numbers. And yeah, I mean, Emma, if she had stuck with 2,000, she might have been able to eke out a couple more points. But when you hit Kate Winslet, I mean, she's got such a diverse filmography and some things that you may not have even heard of her doing before. Like, I knew about The Reader. I knew about a handful of those other ones. I think, what was it? Revolutionary Road was in like one of the first questions, but
Kathy Bates.
Yeah. The Kathy Bates question. I mean, but yeah, there's so many different genres and so many different films that she's done. It's easy for 1 or 2 of them to get lost in your memory, and that's, like I said, I mean, you can say the same thing about romantic comedies because there's so many different ones in there. But obviously, when it came down to it, Emma got something that she wasn't as well versed in. Janine got something that she was very confident in, and we saw the results of it. And yeah, like you said, heading into round 3, it was a seemingly insurmountable task that Emma had in front of her, but she gave it a fight.
Yeah, and to go back to her second round, like, she got biopics, I believe was, or no, not biopics. The question about Kate Winslet was, what was the film? What biopic film did she star in with Fassbender? I couldn't believe that she didn't know Steve Jobs. Like, even on multiple choice, I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, because I mean, even with the posters for The Mountain Between Us, which is what the answer she gave, you see Winslet and Idris Elba. It was obvious that kind of wasn't the case. But I mean, when you're that frustrated and the second round has gotten you to a point where you're like, damn it, how am I going to pull this off? Sometimes that adrenaline can force some things out of your brain that you're just not, in the back of your mind, it's not at the forefront of it to help you in a time like that when stress and adrenaline is really going.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, the score was 14-5 after round 2. Emma's first category she gets is Matthew McConaughey, who played the co-lead in Dallas Buyers Club. Of course, that was Jared Leto. She pulls that. And then her next category was Sandra Bullock. It's funny how in round 3 she got all people categories. Like, it wasn't like sci-fi or action. It was all about people. And she got Sandra Bullock, and it was who plays the boss in the arrogant boss in 2 weeks' notice, and she gets the Hugh Grant for 3 points. But then it comes down to her 5-pointer. It's hit or go home, and it was I can't remember the writer's name, but who wrote the film directed by Martin Scorsese. That was the category, Martin Scorsese, and I can't remember the answer she guessed, but the actual answer was Raging Bull. Yeah. So Janine won via TKO.
Yeah. Well, the thing is they said, I believe the writer's name was Paul. I think it was either Schaefer or Schrader or something like that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Paul Schaefer. But they said he was the screenwriter on which Martin Scorsese film, but there were actually, I believe, multiple answers to that because they said Raging Bull, but I think I also heard them say Taxi Driver as well. So she had at least a couple of options there to give one out, I think. So, but you can fact check me on that one. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just to say because I try to pay attention, especially when they give the answers at the very end to questions I'm not too sure on. Because I had guessed Goodfellas, which I'm pretty sure wasn't the case, but yeah, but I'm just like. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Scorsese has had such a long and storied career. Like, there's bound to be, especially when it comes to a screenwriter, you know, again, people who I don't think get nearly enough credit on certain films because it's like, yeah, the director is great, but I mean, in a lot of ways, a solid script can make it a great movie, even if the direction's not, you know, top notch. But yeah, I mean, just tough break for Emma. I mean, she gets hit with a TKO just ahead of, you know, this next match. But again, I mean, she's tough. You know, Emma knew going into this she was going to face a challenge in Janine and everything. And even she said in the post-game interview, like, it wasn't that she really wanted to compete in this match. It's like she doesn't back down from a challenge. So, you know,
yeah.
Sure. I mean, I'll take whatever kind of match you can give me. I'm not afraid to face anybody. And I think that's what I respect about her the most is like, yeah, you want to come at me? What the hell? Give me whatever you got. I'll take it. And, you know, you get by me, great. Everybody else in my faction's still going to stomp you, which is exactly what she said in the end. So,
yeah. But yeah. I mean, I heard them say Raging Bull. I didn't hear them say any other films when I was watching. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard Taxi Driver in there somewhere, but I'll go back and watch again.
So let's talk about this post match. Now you had Janine, Jay, and Markia join them. And they're all throwing out challenges. I mean, Jay issued his challenge for Emma, and we got that in the next match.
Right.
But Janine, she's getting pretty ballsy. She's challenging the android Mark Andreyko. I mean, Janine, you're great. You're gonna have to bring your A game against Mark Andreyko because he ain't no slouch.
No, absolutely not. I mean, like you said, all due respect to Janine, she's a fantastic competitor. There's a reason Andreyko has his own shirt, and that's that XX5XX, where he knocked out 4 of the biggest juggernauts in the schmoedown in one go in the free-for-all back last year. Sorry, I mean, he is on a whole nother mental level when it comes to movie knowledge. Granted, I'm sure Janine's going to give it all, and I'm not counting her out by any stretch of the imagination. There's every chance that Andreyko could either spin a category that he doesn't know well, or even pick a couple of round 3 categories that he doesn't know well. But based on track record, I've got to give the edge to Andreyko there. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, I would agree with that, but then you got to remember, like, because most people remember him for either knocking out the four of the greatest competitors of all time, and also he pretty much, even in a loss in his debut against Bibiani, he basically pitched almost a perfect game. But also, he had that very rough outing dressed up as Finstock against Makuga, where he didn't play very well. So, I mean,
well, yeah. He put on that stupid beard mask. I mean, that just soaked up all of Dagnino's suckage. I mean, there was no other way that could have gone down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And then Markia. Now, like I said, I was hesitant about how well she could play the heel, but she came out guns blazing, throwing out a challenge for the Crusher, Rachel Cushing. I mean, does she not know who Rachel is? She's one of the best in the business, period, not just IG.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you're right. And it's not just the fact that she challenged her to and just any regular match. They are competing in an inner geekdom match, from what I've been told. And
yeah,
good luck. I mean, you're gonna need every lucky horseshoe, 4-leaf clover, any kind of talismans you can find, because Rachel Cushing, again, no slouch in general movie knowledge, but in inner geekdom, you are asking for a world of hurt. This is a woman who went neck and neck with Jason Inman before he became the champion, and has just shown the strongest level of acumen, both in terms of movie trivia in general and in Inner Geekdom. And you want her for your first match? Like I said, all due respect on the sack level.
I would like to point out, though, I seen a tweet, and I'm pretty sure it was Rachel's response to Marquia, is that her answer is no. Like, I think Marquia is going to have to get a couple wins before that can happen. But the fact that she would just call her out right away, like, I mean, maybe she's pretty confident and it could be the next dominant force in the league.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah. But when that match does happen,
with any luck, she'll have to take on a few other challengers before she can get to Rachel Cushing. But I mean, just laying out that challenge straight up, that's like me challenge somebody who has had no fight training whatsoever, challenging Brock Lesnar to a fight in the octagon. I'm going to get killed.
Yeah. But yeah, I look forward to seeing Marquia getting her feet wet in Inner Geekdom. It'll be interesting to watch, see how her story develops, and if she can ultimately get that match against Rachel.
Absolutely.
So now moving on to the third and final match, we had again the great one, the Golden Mike, Emma Fyfe taking on the Urban Gladiator, Jay Washington, Inner Geekdom style. I was excited for Emma versus Janine. My excitement level for Emma versus Jay was even higher because Jay's a good manager. I got nothing against him, but with Emma and Janine, I'm fans of both of them. With Emma versus Jay, I'm clear cut on Fife Club. So,
of course.
What were your general thoughts about the match?
Well, like I said, going into this match, like anytime I can get an Inner Geekdom match, I'm super happy about it because, like I said, I love everything Inner Geekdom. It's where my heart is. It's if I were to ever compete in the schmoedown, that would be my wheelhouse. Like every single week, anytime I competed, it would be Inner Geekdom. Now, obviously, I'd throw in for the free for all and maybe a couple singles matches here and there, but Inner Geekdom was where I would live. Before I get into that, can we talk about? I mean, I'm kind of burying the lead here, but we saw at the beginning of the match on Friday a little encounter regarding the Inner Geekdom proceedings between one Mike Kalinowski and the commissioner Thad Williams.
Yeah, I can't believe I completely blanked on that. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're going to get a tournament of some sort.
Yeah, I mean, because originally we were setting this up to be, it's going to be 5 separate matches in Inner Geekdom, and then those 5 winners would go into another Fatal 5-Way to determine who would face Jason Inman down the line. But now we're getting a full 16-competitor tournament to determine that, which I think is just fantastic. Because for me, more Inner Geekdom, the better in my book, because I want to see that division expand and, new competitors brought in and whatnot. But I'm kind of sick of the Fatal 5-Way format when it comes to that, because it's like we don't have enough competitors to just kind of do like one-on-one proceedings and things like that every now and then. Like, granted, we get a handful here, but just in terms of determining a true #1 contender, they always seem to resort to the Fatal 5-Way format, which I'm just like, can we just stick to kind of like one-on-one, bringing back, stuff like one of my favorite matches for like a #1 contendership was Robert Meyer Burnett versus Jeremy Johns, which was a great, great match. But then, when you could get down to Jason Inman earning his #1 contender spot, that was a Fatal 5-Way, and it just, I'd love to see more one-on-one focused competition. Granted, the Fatal 5-Ways are great because you get a huge, depth of Inner Geekdom knowledge, but at the same time, it's just like, we've seen this song and dance like a few too many times before. Can we kind of change things up just a little bit? So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, and that's my question, because about that tournament, have they established 16 competitors that have actually played Inner Geekdom, or are we going to get some debuts in this tournament?
Because, you had Adam and Hector earlier on in the week. You had Jay and Emma just now. Obviously, KO's wanting to throw his hat in the ring. You've got Rachel and Markia, which I'm guessing is going to be another one of those matches. You've got they could bring in, I guess, Taylor Robinson because she's I mean, we saw when she was in with because you had Taylor Robinson, you had oh god, why am I blanking on her name? Something, I think it starts with a J, Jordan Markey or something like that, and who we saw in one of those Fatal 5-Ways.
Oh yeah,
and then you've got a handful of other competitors that I'm sure you can bring in. But yeah, I mean, to fill out a 16-person bracket, I mean, we might get a debut here in a short while with a couple of new competitors, which I'd be all for. Now, I don't know, maybe one of the Kingsmen, because I know both of those guys are huge fans of geek culture as well. Maybe they could slide in there somewhere. But yeah, I think there's room for some crossover, even some fresh debuts in that Inner Geekdom League.
Yeah, I imagine there's gotta be at least 2 debuting players in this thing.
At a minimum.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll be exciting to see. Has it been confirmed that whoever wins this tournament will be playing Inman at the Collider Collision? Has that been confirmed?
Here's the thing. I don't know, because the Collider Collision is supposed to be happening in June, and I don't know if they'll be able to hammer their way through all these matches in time. So it might be a little bit after that. But
yeah, that's
there's
true.
Absolutely an opportunity for that. I guess if they just run Inner Geekdom nonstop for the next 2 weeks, or the next couple of weeks, I would say. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I would say, like I said, regardless, I mean, just the fact that we're getting like a different style, almost like an Inner Geekdom Ultimate Schmoedown prior to like November or October, I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see how this tournament unfolds. And I'd also like to say to all the viewers out there, James is not lying when he tells you he thrives in IG. He went a perfect 10 out of 10 in that Hector and Adam match. I mean, that's no easy feat. I didn't get all 10. I got 8 out of them, which is pretty good. But 10 is
did the
perfect.
Same with Jay and Emma as well. So
yeah. So going into this match with Emma and Jay, you know, it was a solid start. Emma was up 5-4 after the first round, and then Jay ends up And what were your thoughts on round 1?
Round 1 was interesting to me because I knew, you could tell Emma knew like a handful of those questions. She just was kind of gun shy on some of the answers, like the Star Wars, the red and blue lightsaber question. Like I felt like that one would have been a slam dunk for her, but at the same time, just them ping ponging, with correct or incorrect or just not knowing the answer overall, I thought was interesting because it really showed where they kind of thrive and where they kind of need to work on some of their knowledge. But I mean, we knew anything that had to deal with Harry Potter, you knew Emma was going to crush that. Anything that had to do with DC or the DCEU, Jay Washington was going to pounce on those as well. So like I said, it was another one of those kind of evenly matched, back and forth kind of affairs, much like we saw between Hector and Adam, just like with a different level of, more evenly matched in terms of what they knew versus what they didn't know. So, but yeah, overall, I thought it was a solid round 1 and gave us a more entertaining clash as the match went on.
Well, that's the thing to, bring up your point about, when you think of Jay, you think he would hop on DC movies, but in round 2, he spun it on his first spin and elected to get away from it, but ended up with it anyway. And he actually struggled. He only got 2 out of the 5 questions right for 4 points, and Emma was able to counter. She got 2 steals. I mean, they were both on multiple choice, but she picked up 2 steals.
Right.
On there.
Right. I mean, I feel like maybe he might have been looking maybe more for the MCU side of things, maybe in the second round, maybe because he'd been so spotty in the first round. Maybe he was thinking of something he could have been a little bit more confident in, maybe around like Star Wars or even the MCU or something like that. So there was any number of ways he could have probably tried to spin that. But like I said, sticking with DC, he didn't do terrible. He certainly could have done better. But I mean, he managed a solid couple of points. And, again, it was just the fact that, Emma kind of gave him the option to go first and things like that. So that way he could Yeah, so he could kind of really go for what he was strong in, or he could have floundered. So I mean, like I said, it just boiled down to, I think, again, that wheel round comes down to luck of the draw. And when, especially with some of these Inner Geekdom matches, we're starting to get a lot more deeper cut questions in categories that have really, and especially with DC movies, I think because there's so, not that there's so few of them, but because I feel like so many people just discount those and just don't bother remembering, oh, yeah, that's a DC film, or oh, yeah, that's a DC film. There's a lot more margin for error with that as opposed to something like Marvel or the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Emma on her spin, she initially spun Star Wars, and after her previous match, she got away from that. She didn't want nothing to do with it, and fortunately for her, and she spun Spinner's Choice. So of course she took Harry Potter,
Yep.
which she proceeded to kick ass in. She got 4 out of 5 for 8 points, and Jay missed the one attempt at a steal that he could have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And after round 2, Emma was up 15-8. So another match where person trailing has a big lead they got to overcome. So in round 2, like, did you see? I mean, in hindsight, 2020, Emma spins Spinner Choice and she gets Harry Potter. I mean, would you expect any less from her?
No, I knew she would have either gone with Harry Potter or Middle Earth because she really seems to enjoy those categories. She does well with certain questions in the Lord of the Rings or Hobbit universe. But yeah, we've seen Harry Potter as her bread and butter. That's where she loves to be. She was wearing the Slytherin sweater and things like that. I expected her to kind of spin away from Star Wars, and she even said so in the post game interview. Like, there are so many deeper cut questions from Star Wars that are coming out because of not just the Inner Geekdom matches, but Star Wars specific matches. Like we've seen between Ken Knapsack and Sam Witwer, and what we'll see on Tuesday with Knapsack, Scrimshaw, and Damon with that triple threat, which I am very much looking forward to. But I mean, yeah, so I expected her to kind of spin away if she hit Star Wars, and lucky for her, she did. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I love Harry Potter as much as she does, and honestly, I expected no less from her when it came to getting Spinner's Choice. And when it comes to that, like, I'm actually glad, like, when we had Title Week a couple of weeks ago, with neither of those matches, I believe, involved Spinner's or opponent's choice on the board. So I think it took a lot of the excuses out of the way with that one for, like, whoever came up on the short end of the stick with that. Granted, I think it's fine in, like, just general play, but I'd like to see that kind of thing instituted in more of the higher stakes, like the number one contenders or the championship matches, is just keeping those two wedges off. So it truly comes down to the genuine luck of the draw rather than, oh, great, he got to spin his strong point and I did,
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's actually been in place for a while that all championship matches do not have spinner and opponent's choice. It feels like it's been like that for a while now.
Well, I know for a while there they were saying that, like especially when it came to the Patriots and their championship matches, they had said that the champions could opt to leave those off of the wheel. But I don't know if they just went to that as a general rule or if that's still the case that, oh, yeah, the champion can opt to leave those out in those championship matches. So I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember that was one of their points when in the lead up to their first match with Above the Line at last year's Spectacular, they were saying there won't be opponent's choice on that wheel this time because McWeeny was on a roll spinning it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Emma looked pretty. She looking to be exactly where she wanted to be. Jay just looked downright depressed after that round 2. I mean, it didn't appear that he would have enough in the tank to, at least make it a match. But that wasn't the case because he did pretty well in his round 3. His first question he got wrong. It was Indy's father was the answer, and he guessed Indy. But then in his second category was DCU. It was what were the names of the groups who were assisting the Amazons in their battle against Steppenwolf in their battle years prior. He got that, the Lancers and Atlanteans.
Yep.
And then now for me personally, his 5 point question I feel is under some scrutiny, in my opinion. He got it was villains, and it was what was the Joker's response to when Vicky Vale asks him what does he want? Now, in my reaction, I said his face on the dollar bill, but he gave the answer a little song, a dance, Batman's head on a lance. I mean, this is just my opinion, but I feel that that should have been the incorrect answer.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. And I haven't seen the Michael Keaton Batman in a long time, so I wouldn't have gotten that answer correct anyway. But I do vaguely remember, him saying, facing the $1 bill, and then either transitioning into that or that came earlier or something. I don't remember exactly how it pans out, but the fact that they kind of gave it to him, I guess it means they felt like it was a strong enough answer to where it would have technically qualified. So, like I said, I can't speak to what the choice was as far as Mark and Christian, and as far as making that ruling. But if I feel like if Emma, and again, maybe if Emma really had that much of a problem with it, she would have used her challenge on that, and maybe we would have gotten a different result. But I mean, who knows? I mean, she could have gotten out with a TKO if she had chosen to challenge that. Maybe a little bit more scrutiny was necessary there. But overall, I mean, she got the win anyway, so I guess it really is, just water under the bridge.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember that scene vividly. Like, he specifically says, she's like, what can I do for you? And he's like, my face on the dollar bill. He says the whole Batman spiel a little bit later in that scene. So I mean, yeah, it didn't affect the outcome of the match, but it could have.
Yeah, you're right. It absolutely could have, but again, Emma still had, even if he had hit that, Emma still had 3 chances to really just put him down. So I'm not too upset about it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and then we had some more controversy. On Emma's 2 point question. What was the name of the person who had the ring at the beginning of a movie? I think it was Return of the King, if I remember correctly. And
it was in the beginning of the Return of the King who picks up the ring after Isildur loses it.
yeah, and she says Smeagol, then kind of hesitates and says Smeagol and Deagle. And at first they give her the win, but then Jay challenges it. I mean, I haven't seen this movie, so I can't, dispute it. But it appears Jay was in his full right to challenge it, and the right decision was made. That Emma didn't answer correctly.
Yeah, Jay actually used his challenge very well there because in the beginning of the movie, Smeagol and his brother Deagle are fishing. I think Deagle falls overboard and he finds the ring sitting in the river, and he is actually the first one to pick it up as he's being pulled out of the water, and he actually has it in his hand first. So that challenge and that ruling was completely justified, in my opinion.
And then Emma's 3 point question. It goes back to Star Wars. What was Yoda's age when he died in Return of the Jedi? And it seemed like maybe it was a guess, but maybe not, just the way Emma kind of said it. But she got it, 900 years old.
Right.
Emma gets the win. I mean, did you feel that she guessed that, or that she actually knew it? It felt like more of a guess to me.
Yeah, I believe it was sort of a guess, and I can see why she might feel that way because especially with regards to those original Star Wars movies, we're not exactly sure how much time separates each one. So Yoda has that line in Return of the Jedi, when 900 years old, you each look as good, you will not. But also, we don't know how many years passed after that, so he could have been 901, 902, by the time Return of the Jedi takes place. So it absolutely could have been a guess, and honestly, I would have gone with 900 as well, just because, again, I remember that quote. But again, being that it was Empire versus Return of the Jedi, there could have been a discrepancy there. So she may have thought, oh, okay, maybe this was the right answer, but maybe it isn't. But she definitely threw it out there, and even guess or not, it got her the W. So I don't think she's too mad about it.
Yeah, You know, in her post match, it was all fun. You know, she was happy with the win. Like, she just seems in her element in IG. I mean, she hasn't performed great in all of her matches, but she just seems more at home in those
Right.
matches. And
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean she's only 1-1 in singles, and she's like now 1-2 in Inner Geekdom. So yeah, she definitely does seem a lot more at home in the Inner Geekdom. I absolutely agree with you on that. And I'm sure when she got the win here, I'm sure there was a jump of victory for her, and I'm sure there was an explosion of joy on your part, both in a couple of different ways, I'm sure. But PG show. Anyhow, but yeah, I'm sure. Like I said, she definitely seems like she's much more at home in the Inner Geekdom League, and I'm eager to see how she does going forward. If she does manage, especially with they made mention in the post game that Rachel has her match coming up next for the Inner Geekdom, and if she's successful in that, then it is, Fife Club versus Fife Club, Emma Fife versus Rachel Cushing in an Inner Geekdom match, and oh boy, is that going to be interesting.
yeah, I mean, if Emma and Rachel face off, it'll be a fun match to watch. I love Emma, but I give her very little shot to defeat Rachel. She's a beast on a whole nother level.
Yep. No, I absolutely agree. Yeah. If when it comes down to it, yeah, Emma got the win today. I'd never discount Rachel Cushing. She's always gonna really do well, especially with Inner Geekdom. I have full confidence she's gonna take that next match. And then, yeah, no offense to Emma Fife, you're a great competitor. Great personality, very very fun to watch. But yeah, Rachel's taking that match.
Yeah, and Rachel, foreshadowing now, Rachel probably gonna win that entire tournament. I mean, Kalinowski can probably make it interesting, but my pick to win that whole tournament is Cushing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll completely agree. Honestly, I could see this tournament ending with one of three different victors, and honestly, I feel, well, at least one of two, either Cushing or Kalinowski. But I feel like Donica can make a good run in it too as well. I don't know if he'll even have enough to win it, but Mark Donica is a fairly strong Inner Geekdom competitor as well. So
Yeah, Don could definitely take it, and who knows? Like I said before, Marquia could be the next breakout star.
yeah, we'll see. It's absolutely up for debate, and all we can do is just buckle our seatbelts and hold on for the ride, which I am more than willing to do.
So yeah, so speaking of Kalinowski, we got a post-credit scene with him where Roca calls his name, and then they just have kind of this stare down. I mean, this has to be teasing. Kalinowski's joining the Horsemen, right?
That was definitely the vibe I got. I had a very strong feeling that we know Roca's pushing for these. He's pushing for the Four Horsemen. But that's interesting now because for the longest time, Top 10's been playing the babyface route. So with the very heelish way that Kalinowski's been carrying himself as of late, would that mesh well with the newer Horsemen, or are we going to see them go a little bit more the tweener route? Be kind of the baby face, but also the heel as well. In terms of whatever kind of faction they're building. So I mean, honestly, it'll be interesting to see because they're definitely teasing something there. I'm just not sure how it plays out down the line. But I guess, like I said, it'll play itself out, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that if Kalinowski does in fact join the Horsemen, Top 10's going back heel because Kalinowski he's not a tweener.
No,
Kalinowski's heel now at this point,
yeah,
so I feel if they recruit him, Top 10's got to be going heel again. Now, I mean, who could if they do get Kalinowski, who could be the fourth person to join them? I mean, at first I was thinking maybe it could be Inman because Inman had been talking about he wants to join a faction, but then I'm thinking he's a hero. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know who the fourth person could be if it's not him.
This is just pure speculation on my part, but I mean, obviously, you got Noka and Roca and Nost. There we go. And if we get KO in there, you've got a singles and a team kind of set up there with both Roca and regards to Nost. Obviously, KO is pushing for the Inner Geekdom. Could we maybe see them try to recruit a Star Wars competitor? Because what's Roca been talking about for the longest time? He wants all the belts, all the records. You know, you got to have enough. So could we maybe see a Joseph Scrimshaw or a Damon or any other Star Wars competitor maybe try to join in there? It's a possibility.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, if it is a Star Wars competitor, I don't see it being Damon. I mean, not that Scrimshaw's not a nice guy, but Damon is he's like the picture perfect. When you think of a face, I think Alex Damon is absolutely 100% a face. I can't see him pulling off villain. So
fair enough.
Scrimshaw could be a possibility.
Right, no, but like you were saying, Alex Damon, as JR would put it, is your typical white meat baby face, just clean cut as it goes. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, as far as it goes, Scrimshaw, I could definitely see it. And who knows, maybe if Knapsack, doesn't do well trying to get that belt back from Whitwer, if he even lost in the Star Wars match, maybe he could think of defecting from the Lions Den and joining the Horsemen, which would be a great kind of throwback to when Burnett left the Horsemen and joined the Lions Den. So there's a little bit of interplay they could do there. So who knows? There's a bunch of different ways this could pan out, and like I said, I'm eager to see what the results of this are.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about this week's matches. They happened last night. Yeah, first up you had the triple threat with former champ Knapsack, Joseph Scrimshaw, Alex Damon. Now, not a lot of people might agree with me, but I have a feeling, and I don't know anything, but I have a feeling Joseph Scrimshaw, I just had a feeling that he was going to win this match. I don't know if he did, but I have a feeling that he was going to take down Ken.
Yeah, no, I had that same feeling, and I even tweeted out last night that I was pulling for Scrimshaw in that match, and he actually ended up liking that tweet, so I was very, very pleased to see that. So, like I said, I have no inside information on how things went out. I don't want to hear any spoilers. I know in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown fan group, they even put up something like, don't spoil what happens in the live event. If you do, you're in serious trouble. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how those matches panned out. Like I said, when it comes to that triple threat, I mean, Ken's a heavy hitter. I mean, somebody like him who could go toe-to-toe with Sam Whitwer in that Iron Man match that they had back at the Spectacular. I mean, he is no slouch whatsoever. And for a fact that those questions that they asked in that match were the deepest of deep-cut questions in a lot of different realms, I'm sure. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that match panned out. I'm looking forward to see how I do when it comes to playing along and reacting to it. So, yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't put it past Knapsack to come out on top. But man, I'm hoping Scrimshaw really kind of just ran away with it and knocked both of those guys down a peg.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, Ken could very have easily won that match. Alex Damon could have easily won that match, but Scrimshaw was I felt like it was his time.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
So, and then our other match, you got the team that loves to talk that shit, Team Action, taking on the Shire Wolves. Now, I'm a big fan of Action, but as you and many other people know, when it comes to the Fife Club, I'm riding with them, so I'm down. I'm pulling for the Shire Wolves to get that win, because I want to see them. I mean, I've been a little more eager for the Shire Wolves to win if the Patriots were still the champions, but now Above the Line is the champion, so I would like to see the Shire Wolves take on Above the Line.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Like, I'm ride or die with the Shire Wolves. I mean, absolutely. I've been down with that group since they first formed. But yeah, I mean, you bring up Team Action, it's like, man, do they love to run their mouths. But the biggest thing I've realized, especially when it comes to competition and fights and things like that, is the guys with the biggest mouths usually have the smallest dicks. So I don't think they're doing much as far as taking down the Shire Wolves. I mean, they will. The Shire Wolves are going to run right over them, knock those freaking cheap suits off of them, put them back on those Ken dolls they snagged them off of. And eventually, I pray to God, Dan Murrell just comes back and just smacks Drew Guy right in the mouth, because I am tired of hearing that guy run his freaking mouth. But yeah, strong rules all the way on.
So let's kind of debate. No, not debate, but discuss. In that lead up to yesterday, the live event, Christian was saying that something was going to go down at the schmoedown at the event that was going to change the schmoedown forever. What do you think that could possibly be? Because I'm at a total loss.
Who knows? There could have been any number of things that went down at that. I mean, I mean, I honestly, it would have been cool to see maybe Sam Witwer pop up and like sit at the desk while the Star Wars match was going on. Maybe add another wrinkle to that. But yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, could it be Dan Murrell coming out and calling out Drew Guy? Could it have been, a brand new competitor or anything like that? Something that was going to shake the foundation of the schmoedown? I don't know. Is Christian finally getting his match with Thad to get the commissioner's position back? I don't know. Like I said, there's any number of things that could have gone down there. But he said, yeah, this is something you do not want to miss if you're able to come and see it live. So who knows? All I know is when it happens, I'm sure there will be a massive compilation made of reactors just like yourself and me, just clips of our reactions to it, just being like, what the hell? So we'll see how that happens.
Well, to your point, like you were saying, the possibilities, what could go down that would change the schmoedown forever. Now, me personally, I don't think Murrell showing up to challenge Guy or Whitworth showing up to, call the triple threat match. I don't think those would be great things, but I don't think they're things that would change the schmoedown forever. Now,
right.
This is the only one possibility I thought of, even though it's probably I'm way off. It's very remote that it happened, but we've known for a while, for at least, I would say, at least the past year and a half, 2 years, they have wanted The Rock and Kevin Hart involved in this thing.
Yeah,
they have
true.
Possibly showed up. That's the only thing I could think of that would change the schmoedown.
I could see exactly where you're going with that, and that would be an epic moment. Here's the thing: I know Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, are very, very busy individuals. So if they could have fit that in, who knows? I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't know whether The Rock technically lives in LA or if he lives in Miami, which I know is his hometown. Same thing with Kevin Hart. I don't know particularly where they are logistically with that and how that would have fit in with where they wanted to be and like what their schedules were like or anything like that. But there's any number of things that it could have been. But yeah, that would have been epic, absolutely. Yeah, but I mean,
or actually, another possibility that just popped in my head was maybe possibly John Boyega showed up to call the triple threat match.
Maybe John Boyega showed up in Star Wars match to a fatal four-way. Who knows? That could have been interesting. But yeah, because I know they've been trying to get him on Jedi Council for the longest time, and I mean, hands down, I would absolutely love to see that. But yeah, as far as like groundbreaking things in the schmoedown, like there's any number of possibilities that could exist there. I mean, a new faction could be forming. We could have gotten a heel turn or a face turn or somebody new joining like the Lion's Den or the Horsemen or even the Fife Club or anything else. So who knows? I honestly, I don't know what Christian and Mark have up their sleeves, but all I know is the ride that they're taking us on, I'm all aboard.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. The schmoedown is life.
Absolutely. And let me just, while we've got it, let's just say congratulations to the whole Collider crew, Christian, Mark, Thad, everybody who put the schmoedown together, and especially with that live event last night. I know it was sold out. They had to actually extend a bunch more seats, and they sold those out. So congratulations, guys. I'm sure it was a huge success. I'm glad to see you guys are keeping this trend going with more live events. Can't wait to see if maybe you guys are able to come east, a little bit more towards where myself and Chris are located. But yeah, keep doing what you do, and I look forward to seeing where this goes, and I hope it keeps going on for years and years to come.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but Christian has already confirmed the next date for the next live event.
It's September 8th. Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep. Don't know if I'll be able to schedule some time off work to do that, but who knows?
yeah, and also, you know, to go after your point about, you know, them doing such a great job with this match. Like I made a post in the schmoedown page earlier this week. I was like, whether you're a fan of the storylines or not, you gotta, you know, commend Christian and all of them for, you know, the effort that they put in to give us the
Oh yeah.
absolute, you know, material to watch. I mean, I get it. Some people don't like the storylines. Me and you and many thousands others, we do love the storylines. The trivia is fun. The storylines is what makes it compelling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the interplay between the characters, and you know, a lot of, and I can, you know, obviously there's a lot of relevancy to professional wrestling, WWE, things like that. And a lot of people look at me like, oh, you know, that's so fake. Why do you even watch that crap? It's like, let's see, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek. You know, do you need me to keep going? But the fact of the matter is it's entertainment, and it's yes, is WWE scripted entertainment? Absolutely, it is. But that doesn't mean you can't turn your brain off and enjoy it. And that's what I love about this is you get interplay with, you know, rivalries, with, you know, different personalities. You get so much different things going on. Like one of my favorite things earlier on this year was the Ash versus Evil Dead match when you got, you know, Whitney and oh god, why am I blanking on her name? Dana De Lorenzo, and you had Ray Santiago and John Schnepp on one side, and you had Bruce Campbell on the table doing commentary. That was fantastic. It was one of my favorite matches of the year.
Yeah,
not from a competitive standpoint, but from an entertainment aspect, it was awesome.
yeah, absolutely. And we got sometime soon. We got another celebrity match. I'm not too familiar with the person, but John Schnepp is playing somebody. I mean, or he's teaming up with somebody. I'm not too sure. I have to find out more about that match.
You know, Roca, I think, is going up against. I think his name is Alex Wolf. Isn't he one of those kids from Stranger Things or something?
Roca, yeah, Roca going up against Alex Wolf. Is he playing him, or is it like he's mentoring him against somebody else?
No, I think let me check the schmoedown page real quick, but I'm pretty sure it's an actual match, and it's scheduled. Let's see here, hang on. Yeah, here we go. Celebrity match. It looks like Alex Wolf versus Roca, and that's taking place on June 8th, right before the Shire Wolves action match. So it's this Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little odd that they call it a celebrity match. I mean, yeah, Roca's popular on YouTube, but it's not like he's a celebrity. You know, usually celebrity matches you have like people who are
listed as the undercard, I think. But let me see here. Let me go back and double check that. But I think, yeah, it's just I mean, it's not really it's not labeled as a celebrity match. It's just labeled as an undercard match for Shire Wolves action.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that pretty much covers it for, you know, everything this past week and this week. I mean, I can't wait to watch these, you know, two vids, the live event. I am so curious as to what this big thing that happened. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you and me both, man. And like I said, if ever I could be at one of these live events, I'll pay for the VIP ticket because I'd love to just meet and chat with these guys for God knows how long. But yeah, really looking forward to these matches. Obviously, the Star Wars match I'm super hyped about. But yeah, I'm waiting to see the Shire Wolves put the hurt on action. So
absolutely. So I'll send it to you. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me here on schmoedown All Access. You can also find me on Twitter at James E. Shimo. You can also find me here on YouTube at my personal YouTube channel, just at James Shimo. I do schmoedown reactions, trailer reactions, death battle reactions from time to time. If anybody wants me to do some other kind of reactions, leave them in the comments on my videos. I'll be happy to take a look over them. Also, you can find me competing in Jack of All Trivia. I do the wrestling trivia as well as general movie trivia, and I'm also getting ready to head up the Inner Geekdom end of things on that end. Hopefully, we can get that running pretty soon. And you can also find me doing my own show on my personal YouTube channel, Sweating It Out. I'm working on getting another episode of that lined up fairly quickly, so be sure to check that out.
Absolutely. People out there, you should watch James's reactions. They are excellente.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank you, sir.
you can find, yeah, you're welcome, man. You're awesome. I love watching your shit and talking schmoedown and everything with you. You're an awesome dude.
All right.
And
Likewise.
again, you can find me on YouTube at Christopher Woodburn, Twitter Chris Woodburn 83, Facebook Christopher Michael Woodburn, and like James said, if you do schmoedown reactions, trailer reactions, come join the MTS Fan Reaction League on Facebook. It's a lot of fun, and you can find me competing in Jack of all Trivia amongst a couple other places. And this has been episode 3 of schmoedown All Access. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments section. We'll interact. If you want to come on the show and you're a big schmoedown fan, we'd love to have you. So until next week, this is your boy C-Dub and James. Peace.